Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Deborah, family therapist, diversity and inclusion researcher, retired family therapy professor, and I've been just listening to the conversation around the death of the group that went down in the helicopter with Kobe and his daughter, and again, and then a few days later, I got a message from a friend of mine who was sharing with me an interview that Gayle King did with Lisa Leslie, and how Gayle asked some questions about Kobe's past and what happened, and everybody's mad with her for bringing it up. And as a therapist, I couldn't help but wonder how it is that both things happened. That she could ask the questions that news people ask, because that's how it goes. But then that people could, I guess, respond to her with such venom. I can't say it's hate. I just know it's pain. And so what I wanted to do was speak to the pain that I think Gayle must be experiencing, and those who are sending the hate mail, what they must be experiencing. So I'll start with the hate mail people and the comments that people are tweeting. And we, as African Americans or Africans in America, we spend a lot of time being protective of ourselves, standing up for ourselves, fighting for ourselves, trying to want to put the best images of who we are out there. You learn that growing up. I know I did. And then something happens to one of our heroes, and one of our own just kind of disrespects his legacy, the positivity in his legacy, and totally ignores what pain his family must be in, and not just his immediate family, his extended family, and that includes y'all. And usually when somebody does something like that, the average one of us, we want to tell them all. We want to tell them how we feel, and we do, and you've been doing that. But the pain and the loss is still there, and I know that the fury that you are experiencing has to be because there is such pain in us just to start with. Like I said, all trying to prove who we are, even when we do well, even when one of us is exemplary, there is someone, usually not one of us, finds something wrong with it. And so it's just one more thing we got to contend with around us. And if it happens to one of us, it happens to us all, because we all share a common ancestry, but we also share a common history. And so this our family member betrayed us and did something that was unspeakable. And again, our protectiveness about who we are and what people think of us is always in us. And I don't care how far advanced we get, we seem to always, the pain shows up in some kind of way, and here's another way it's showing up. And I, as your therapist, I totally get the anger and the fury and the rage. But the venom doesn't change what happened to those people who died, and in this case to your hero Kobe. Does not change it. If it could, then I know it would be much worse than what it was. If you thought it could bring that group that died in that crash back, then you would just do everything you could to let Gayle know just how awful she behaved as a family member and how unforgivable that was for her to, in the name of news, in the name of notoriety, perhaps in the name of whatever she did that in, you would do whatever it takes to resurrect that whole catastrophe. So your love is clear. It's extremely clear. But I can't help but know that it's not just your love for this man and what he did and was doing, all the good that he did. It was our love for our people in general, and our love and the pain that goes with just being a person of color, in this case an African American in this time that still has to prove who we are. And then again, one of our family members does something what feels like betrayal. But our brother is still gone. And so you mourn as long as you need to. But I'm wondering, is it possible for you to mourn without, I guess, crucified comes to my mind, without crucifying our sister. But if you can't, then do it until you're satisfied. And so if I were to offer something to our sister, who is our sister, I would say I cannot imagine what possessed you, but at the same time, I know that's your business. That's what you do. You ask the hard questions, and you take the rap for whatever happens afterwards. But I also wonder what was going on inside you when you were asking the questions. Did you feel at any point that this was not going to go well in the end? But that's not even the point at this point, because you did it and it happened, and now you're having to put up with your brothers and sisters are quite angry and upset with you. But I wonder, how are you doing? Because I cannot imagine what it's like for you to endure all of this and just try to go on with your life as if it didn't happen. And if you could do something, that would change what's happened in the conversation, if you could undo it, I know you would, because you're not enjoying this riot on your life. You're not enjoying this heaping of pain, because that's what it is. And so as you deal with us and hear those things that they're saying, and I wonder, how are you taking care of yourself, and how are you mourning in your own way, maybe some loss that feels like it may not be able to be recovered. And of course, nobody is really thinking about you, not these people, not your siblings who are just pissed off. All they want to do is just hurt you the way you've hurt them. And all you're just doing is your job. Sometimes we have to do things we really don't enjoy, because that's what we're paid to do. That's what we've been trained to do. So while you do your own kind of mourning, and you consider what others are feeling as they hurl things at you, if it's possible at all, I'm sure someone has shared with you that they're just responding out of their own pain. And so I guess when you have the kind of platform you have, you get used to a certain amount of that pain. And so I hope that something I've said can ease that for you. And that somehow, if it's what you want, because I have no idea what you want, that you can find a way to at least let your family know that you meant no harm. And know that your family is so full of pain and rage already that you just are the target for today. It'll be something else tomorrow. And as I said to them, and I'll say to you, first let me say this. I'm not for obeying apologies. Apologies don't change a thing. They don't. sincere or not, they don't change. Our brother, his family, those other people, they are still gone. The people still said what they said to you, called you names. That still happens. But what now? What now? What matters now? How can we move on in forgiveness and understanding our own humanity and not do to ourselves what so many just love doing to us? And I say us because I think there is no way we're going to ever not feel like when it happens to one of us, it happens to us all. And I like that. I think that's a good thing. But then that requires a certain amount of care and sensitivity when something does happen to one of us. And I guess we'll all learn whatever lessons we need to learn from this. And so it is.